Air alarms are a device that can be found on the walls of the station. They look like this. They will say air alarm. The description is an air alarm alarms air. They are primarily used by Atmos technicians, but they do have usages for everyone. Anyone can access an air alarm, they just can't change things on it. So if I try to change it to none, insignificant access, for example, you can't change any of the things on here. However, you can still use it to gain information. I will note, not every map is... The maps don't really have a standardized air alarm system. So for example, if you look on the scrubbers, there are 750 and 1E2. But if you notice, this scrubber is SCR. So you would think this scrubber would be hooked up to this alarm, but it isn't. Or if this scrubber has dangerous gas around it, it won't actually alarm this air alarm. It will alarm another one, and I don't even know which one it is. But anyway, you can see the scrubbers on it are 1E22, which is this one. And then also through the vents, you can see there's 731, 6C3, and 305. So there's another vent that isn't hooked. It's always worth double checking which alarms are hooked up to what. That way you can have a better idea of which alarms is going to alarm and which sensors will sense. For example, this air alarm is also hooked up to sensor 0C77, which is this one. But it is interesting because this entire room isn't hooked up to the same scrubbers and filters. So anyway, as a passenger, if you see any of these scrubbers say not normal, you can always just go to the sensors tab and click on it, and it will tell you immediately if the temperature is wrong, if the pressure is wrong, or if there are dangerous gases. If any of these aren't green, that means it is not set to the air alarms configuration, and it will either be a warning or it will be hazardous. Now, obviously, Atmos techs have more usage to it. Atmos techs can tweak individual, like, alarms. They can make it so, yeah, we don't really care about the warning of pressure. We can just turn that off. So if you turn off the warning below 50, it won't ever turn yellow for pressure. It will only turn red when it is actually going to activate things. That is just one example. You can also tweak individual values where if I tweak this to 110, for example, it instantly sets it to warning because I set it to warn me when the pressure is just simply above room pressure. If I set it to 100, the warning goes away. If I set the danger to 110, or whatever, 2100 is fine, you'll hear air alarm. You'll hear certain airlocks and stuff start closing. But remember, this air alarm is kind of oddly configured and doesn't line up with everything in the room. But depending on the station, depending on where you are, and how many you can also individually hook up to it, that will change. You can hook up additional alarms to it simply with a multi-tool or a network configurator. Will work. All you do is left click on the scrubber that you want and then left click on this and you click add, and there you go. It will add that scrubber to this air alarm. And you could also hook up all these, you could hook up all of these fire locks to trigger off this sensor, and I can show you in real time how that works. So if I go back to this sensor again and change the danger to above, look at that. These fire locks have closed. Obviously, air alarms also will close if they detect bad gases and other things like that, but that's more of an Atmos tutorial. Anyways, that is just a very quick rundown of air alarms and how you can utilize them for your benefit.